Hey everybody, welcome back to the warbossfitz channel. Today we're going to go over some things that we have figured out from the 3.5 testing. But before we hop into it, a word from our sponsor. Fleet Admirals, Generals, your reinforcements have arrived. At PrintedStarships.com, you will find high-quality 3D printed starships and sci-fi armies ready for deployment. Whether you're commanding fleets in Star Wars or Armada, dogfighting in X-Wing, battling in one-page rules war fleets, or leading ground forces in grimdark future, we've got the precision-crafted models you need to seize victory. Use code warbossfitz for 15% off your order. That's PrintedStarships.com. Prepare to take command of the tabletop. So when the 3.5 beta testing was announced, my normal stuff of going over an army every week, I knew it just wasn't going to be able to vibe with the way that the beta testing was going, because by the time I had a video that was edited or was shot, edited, put together, and then released on YouTube, the beta would have completely moved away from it. So I decided pretty early on that we were going to do a live stream every night, or at least attempt to. There was a couple that we missed in there. Overall, we ended up doing 47 live streams for the beta testing, and I have them all in a playlist. If you want to watch them all from the beginning, it's about 50, 55 hours worth of content. So if you got nothing else to do that day, why not? So when we started off with the live streaming, we didn't really have an order that we were going to do the armies in. It was pretty much whatever we wanted to test out that day, but I'm pretty sure we did get all of the armies at least once, minus a couple of the Havoc factions here or there. We did do Demons, we did do Havoc Brothers, and we didn't do all of the Battle Brothers, but we did do Prime Brothers. Again, not all of them, but we did throw Prime Brothers in there just to show you guys how it would work out. And the rules changed a lot from what they started as in beta to what they ended up as in beta. Totally different worlds. So let's pop into the Army Forge beta as it stands right now on the 29th of October at 10:20 p.m. here on the East Coast, just to take a look at some stuff. So here we are in the Army Forge beta for 3.5. As you can see, I dumped all of my army lists in anticipation of 3.5 going live already. I figured it might make the transition easier or something. I didn't want to have a whole bunch of armies slamming into my current Army Forge. But since I've done that, I did make a Ratman clan army. Got a couple of units in there. I have a tournament coming up next weekend that I might be putting this into, and the points have changed enough to where I got 65 more points to play with. That's something that's happening a lot here. As 3.5 has officially ended, a lot of points are moving around as some math formulas and just points in general keep on moving. So let's go ahead and hop into the grimdark future, because that's what everyone wants to see, right? Now, I have been asked multiple times as the beta has gone on, what is my favorite army to play, or what do I think has changed the most? As far as favorite army to play, I'm in a weird spot. I don't really have a favorite army. There's quite a few I like to playing, and I'll take the analogy that there are armies that like give me the fizz. Armies that I look at their rules and go, I like this. I can make this work, and then I get excited for it. That's kind of how I've been able to do a different army every week and just get enthusiastic as I go through things. And we're going to be doing that again this coming year. Buckle up. We're going to do everything again. So what are some armies from the testing that gave me the fizz? So let's see. Let's start down here towards the bottom. Robot Legions, with their different changes they had, losing the robot rule, but picking up, let's open it up here. Here in the units, all the different auras that your characters can get now here. The reanimation aura especially. You lost undead, It just is what it is. One thing, too, I want to say about 3.5 is about halfway through the beta, I gave up on comparing it to 3.4. It's a completely new animal. Just your army is not going to play like it did in 3.4. That's half the fun, is going through and trying to figure out what works now. And here with the Robot Legion, I'm really liking the reanimation aura. Reanimation aura, where you can have your models get back up if they do get shot down, and I would love putting this on large, beefy units like Annihilators or Tri-Scorpions, something with defense 3 and 3 toughness, getting into close combat, winning that close combat, and then just standing up anything that you lost along the way. That is a very big morale break, not for the enemy army, but for the enemy general. If you feel like you can't live without the robot rule, it is there with the no retreat aura. You can put that on a hero and put that inside the squads to get you what you had before with essentially this is the old robot rule. And with that in mind, bouncing over to fantasy for a minute, a 20 block stitched zombies led by a drained leader with the reanimation aura is just a straight troll. Oh, good lord. Zombies are supposed to be easy to kill. Not if they just keep getting back up. So, that was the Robot Legions. What else? Well, there's the Orcs, of course. The Orcs, I didn't test them much in beta because I kind of feel like they got a good hand right out of the gate. Giving away, instead of having Furious and Shooty as two separate rules, it was put together as this Ferocious, where it's just Shooty and Furious put together. You get +1 hit on 6s. So that works on ranged and melee. And works great. They have some new things they can do now, like you can get hit and run, where you can move after you fight in melee. So if you kill something and you get your normal 3-inch movement after that, this gives you an extra 6-inch movement. So a little extra consolidation, a little extra pressure from the boys. Piercing Fighter, give everybody AP1. There's the caster buffs, the caster changes. The casters, the spells changed enough as we went through that, the way they ended up now, I don't know. I'm not a huge caster player, and I don't feel like I can't live without them, but I still see the utility to them. So if you're a caster player, you'll probably know more and recognize more that happened more than me. Some of the spells changed around. Everything is kind of evened out. There's a lot better buffs in there than just straight up damage spells. So you'll probably see more buffing than you did before. We got a ranged shrouding. Stuff gets -6 chance ranges to shoot at you. Unpredictable shooter. There's quite a few different things that have unpredictable things. Like there's unpredictable shooter here, where you either get AP +1 or +1 to hit when you shoot. And there's an unpredictable fighter, where it's AP +1 or +1 to hit in melee. Those are some cool new rules that have been put in there. And then you still got here on your Berserker leader, Ferocious Boost. So you can still double up. It's like doubling up on your Furies that you used to be able to do before. But now you're locked to that one character that can do it, right? Right, just making sure. Things may have changed since the last time I looked. Ooh, you can do it on the veteran leaders. Ooh. Yeah, can't do it on the orc leader and ultra okay. You can do it on everybody except for the orc leader. Is what it is. Orcs still do what they do. They still run forward. They still punch stuff in the face. But now with the pretty much added shooter to everything, it opens up a whole nother avenue for the orcs, where before you had to dedicate shooting squads and dedicate characters to getting shooting on your squads. Now you just get it. Another army I am pretty jazzed about is the Machine Cult. I think these guys get a really big glow up from 3.4. In 3.4, they were kind of like Jack of all trades, master of none, but their army-wide special rule, Machine Fog, makes them very annoying to fight against. Something shooting at them from over 9 inches away or something charging them from over 9 inches away is -1 to hit. And let's see what we can do with the characters here. We could do Machine Fog boosts. to where if you want to be a shooting machine army, give these to your heroes and watch the enemy just scratch their head in frustration as they're not able to hit you with shooting. You can also go for like a sect leader here with a teleport aura to give a whole lot more maneuverability to your melee squads. I feel like the sect stalkers, they were good before. I liked them before, but now they have versatile attack where they can get AP +1 or +1 hit on their already quality 3s, so they can be hitting on a 2, and you can give them 2 attacks AP2, or you continue on with rending. Then you take a character, put it in there, because if you're going to take a big beefy melee squad, just put a character with it. Teleport aura on there. Sect stalkers are already fast, which means you're going 16 on a charge, and with the teleport of 6 inches, you're going 22 inches. So there's going to be not much that can hide from you. Oh yeah, the stalkers are Strider. Anyways, yeah, they got some beef there. Destroyer cyborgs with plasma cannons. I still think they're a fun meme to play. They're an absolute terror on the battlefield in case your friends are playing Battle Brothers. This squad will make them go, what the heck? And you put a high priest on there. You could put on rending with shooting. So if your friend does put regeneration on stuff, you go, not today. Or you could do caster, give those cyborgs hit and run shooters so they can poke around corners and then duck back around and just be a real pain in the butt. Let's take a look at another one. Believe it or not, the next one I like is the Human Inquisition. Now, I haven't cracked the code on this yet, but I feel like there is a list in here somewhere. First thing they did is Tano decided to put 2 new units in, the Breacher Guard and the Riot Judges, a 10-man squad and a 5-man squad, so you are going to have more, you're going to have more push behind this army because before you were just stuck with these 3-man squads. So what does their army have? It's called Inquisitorial Agent. Once per game, if all models have this rule, it may be activated even if it had already activated this round. It stops being fatigued when activated for the second time. Only up to half of the units in the army with this rule at the beginning of the game may use it in a single round. Now that last sentence just means you can only use it with half your army per turn. Turn 1, use it with half. Turn 2, use it with the other half. It's that easy. But that coupled with the Breacher Guard with shotguns that can get forward and just unload 10 of these, it would be 20 shots. You could take squads of 20, make it 40 shots, and then activate them immediately again for another 40 shots of AP1 into somebody's face. The Inquisitors have some cool upgrades now. Precision Fighters for +1 to hit in melee for some of the other squads. We got Precision Shooter to give them all +1 to hit. And then we have something called the Delayed Action. If your opponent has more units left to activate than you, then this model may pass this model's unit may pass its turn instead of activating and can still be activated later. So if someone has more models than you on the board, or more units than you on the board, you can delay with this unit. And then after they've moved stuff, you can then spring an attack where you activate twice. So there's some things in there that I see there's potential in this. I just haven't cracked the code yet. There is a list. I will find it. What else we got? Oh, the Goblin Reclaimers. This list is fun. Their rule is they must re-roll rolls of 6 whenever they roll a defense roll. So the whole army has kind of a quasi-poison. It doesn't ignore regeneration in this form, but it's a fun little thing. But the army list, everything is so cheap in this section here. Well, we'll say this section here. Everything is so cheap. You're going to have so many goblins on the board, and things like storm mobs, you get 10 of them, jump it to 20 of them, 40 attacks in close combat. You can give something in the goblins is instinctive now, where if someone's in range, if you have a shooting weapon, you can't move and you have to shoot them, but you get +1 to hit. Or if, in this case, with the storm mob, if they're in range to charge, you have to charge them. You get +1 to hit. Probably what you were going to charge anyways. But then you can give these guys jetpacks, you give them ambushing, you can put a character in there to give a mischievous boost where the enemy has to reroll 5s and 6s. Real fun if you're fighting squishy stuff that has a defense 5 or 6. It's like, okay, make a whole bunch of saves because I'm going to get a whole bunch of hits with a whole bunch of attacks, and then reroll those. And even with them, they have stuff like we've got rending attacks, we've got AP4 attacks, fun stuff. We got scout bikers, which are they're 70 points for 5 goblins on a bike. They're not really that strong combat wise. I mean, you can give them something here, like you can give them a random bubble pistol for AP4, and you can give them random melee weapons, but I would just keep them at 5 models for 70 points, something to burn an activation with. They can hide, they're tiny. You could do bug riders if you want to get into close combat with them, or you get rending claws and close combat weapons. Same thing, you can do something with the shooting weapons. It's just 135 for 3, they're toughness 3, they're like your heavy cavalry. They're goblins riding fleas. These aren't out yet, but when they do come out, when the models get released, I'm making 18 of these. 3 squads of 6, and probably a couple of champions on the bugs. Just because. They even got a new narrative hero that they came out. I don't know if this came out before. I think this came out during the beta, but dangerous terrain debuff. Oh, this is something that I found interesting in pretty much all of the Havoc forces, the Havoc Brother forces. They have the dangerous terrain debuff, where once per activation you can pick an enemy unit with an 18, which must immediately take a dangerous terrain check. When I used the Lust Brothers against the Alien Hives, the big hive tyrant, the giant one. I didn't actually shoot it. I didn't attack it. I just kept hitting it over and over again. The dangerous terrain debuff from 5 different units that I put it on. And it just eventually wore it down. Dangerous terrain, if you don't know, you have to roll 1 dice per wound. So every time I was hitting it, the first time it had to roll 15 dice, and every time it took a wound, or every time I rolled 1, it would take a wound, and then if it took 2, then I had to roll 13 the next time, and then it took another one to be 12, and then so on and so forth, as it eventually, the ground reached up and grabbed this thing and pulled it under. And we're up here at the top. That's pretty much all the armies that I really think are a massive change, or changed enough to get me interested over top of what they were in 3.4. So while we're up here, we're going to talk with the Dow Union. I did some testing on these guys. I did it in the last week of testing. I don't know. I did them randomly during the beginning where they fought against some Dark Elf Raiders, and they kicked the crap out of the Dark Elf Raiders. And I was like, okay, cool, they're strong. We'll move on from them. And then the last week of testing, I pulled them out, and it was against the Lust Brothers after I just made that army. And I was like, I wonder how these guys are going to do. Blew the absolute crap out of the Lust Brothers. And I thought, okay, well, that was weird. Some people thought it might have been a fluke. And I was the one that was running the Dow Union, and I thought, no, that wasn't a fluke. I don't see any possible way that the Lust Brothers would have won this. So we tested again against Orcs. I figured, okay, well, the rule is, 9 inches away, get +1 to hit on top of a good shot, and on top of their different, their different precision spotter markers. Okay, and then we had Relentless on some of the characters, which over 9 inches away, if the squad rolled a 6, it got extra hits. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll take Orcs and run them directly at them, and I'm going to use their speed boost thing, where once per game they go an extra 6 inches. So I'm either going to be in combat turn 1, or real close and be able to jump on them turn number 2. And that didn't work out. The Dow once again shot them off the board. And I had added a lot of terrain to the board to, block line of sight for them, where there was only really like 2 lanes that had line of sight. that even went up to the 18 inches of the carbines for the Dow Union. And I had people saying, oh, it was a shooting gallery. Of course, well, you just ran into a gun army. So I was like, fine, I'll test it again. And I ended up calling the British. I went over to the Don't Think Just Charge Discord. Great place. A lot of tactical stuff, a lot of tactical talk goes on over there. I went over there and said, hey, I think this is a problem. What army do you think I should run into the Dow to figure out if it's a fluke thing, if I'm just not doing it right? Because I know that different parts of the world, people play OPR differently. I like a whole bunch of melee stuff. I like units that are made out of crap. I like lots of activations. I like big squads. It might just be me. I might just have a problem playing against the Dow. So I figured I'll put it to you guys over there on Don't Think Just Charge. And I was like, guys, Harvey, Dave, help me out here. What do I need to do to beat this? Well, the members of the Discord helped me out to come up with a Robot Legions list that had a unit that started on the board that just would not die, which is 6 Tri-Scorpions with a Annihilator Lord. I had to use that for points value, with reanimation, and then everything else in the army ambushed. I was like, okay, this could probably do it. So we played. And I put so much terrain on the board that I don't think there was a sight line that was 12 inches or more. And they fought the Dow to a tie. Took away all their strengths, still fought to a tie. So, again, 3.5's not out yet. We'll see what happens. But if things don't change, I expect to see a whole lot of Dow Union at any type of competitive event that will be happening in 3.5. So that's it for the armies that I really like, the ones that gave me the fizz, and the one that I think might be a problem. But what about the other armies? What armies didn't I like? Well, like I said, it's not that I don't like armies, just some of them don't give me the fizz. Like infected colonies. I like infected colonies. I just don't like them that much. I mean, we ran Flying Ebola before in 3.4. We still got the light drop ship here. Like, zombies now have precision growth, to where if the game goes on and they don't get stunned, which they lost undead, by the way, like everybody else did, you get the extra pluses to hit as the game goes on. Nothing crazier than a zombie hitting on a 3-up. They still got the corrupted beasts with the Vortex AP4. Those are what you're going to be putting inside your light drop ships. Their new rule is infected. If the enemy rolls a 1 to block a hit, they take an extra wound. So you're going to be doing good with those. It's one of those, like, I feel like I saw it before. This didn't change all that much. Maybe the points moved around a little bit. But again, it's one of those, Army's still good. It was good in 3.4. It's still good in 3.5. Next one is Jackals. I think this is a me problem. I don't know what the Jackals are supposed to be. I've tried to make an army list for them 7, 8, 9, 10 times. I just keep coming up with just throw more dogs. Just more dogs. More units of stalkers, more units of nomads. I normally put a great beast in there, otherwise I hit the unit cap for force organization. Throw some vultures in because I got points left over. I've tried some hounds. I'll say it's a me problem. Jackals might be good. I just don't see it. We got Prime Brothers. I was not very keen on Prime Brothers before. Still not. Just I don't know. As far as rules go, they went to defense 3 now, but they do have reinforced. So if they're shot at from over 9 inches away, the enemy gets AP -1, to where you kind of have defense 2 unless the enemy's shooting at you with a whole bunch of AP nothing weapons, which is my preferred play style, which is kind of why I'm not keen on Prime Brothers, because I just shoot the ever-loving crap out of them. They'll eventually roll 1s. So yeah, cool things with the veteran squads now is they have versatile attack. This is for the Prime and for the regular Battle Brothers. They get either +1 AP or +1 to hit whenever they're shooting. So Some of the weapons, it's a no-brainer. Like, say you take the flamers, you're definitely going to be taking the AP1 because they're already going to be hitting on a 2 with reliable. So that means you got AP2 heavy flamers, which is really cool. That makes them worth taking, in my mind, over the support squads, which here I don't even know what this, or the suppressions. I don't even know what the support squad is called here. Infernal. Yes, there. It's relentless. I would rather take the veteran Brine Brothers with the heavy flamers over top of the Infernal squad. Well, yeah. It makes that a no-brainer. What else we got here? Then, Soul Snatchers. Now, Soul Snatchers, it's an army, I think, they lost their army-wide scout, which was a little bit much, but what they do is they picked up Fanatic, to where it's kind of like Scout. Whenever you're deployed, they can just move 9 inches, so it's like you don't get to hold your whole army back now, but now you just deploy as normal, and then you still get 9 inches out, so you do kind of start in the middle of the board. I think that is fine with this army. Things got a little bit cheaper, I think, but I think it's fine. It's great. This army is still strong. We ran it 1 or 2 times. Might have run it once in the testing, and it did all right. It did what it was supposed to do. Still very much leaning on the Soul Snatchers to go out and do the melee work, while you have your support dudes and your neophytes and stuff hanging back, your minions taking objectives and just being pains in the butt to remove, while the rest of your army, or the rest of your snatchers, are out there ripping things faces off. So, not a bad army. I still think they're doing pretty good. They just me personally, they just don't give me the fizz. Titan Lords. We got to talk about the Titan Lords. They do have more versatility now that they have a Vassal Micro Titan, something coming in at toughness 9. So there is things that you can use to fill up your point values, which don't start at 300 points. So they have a little bit more versatility just putting this unit into the army. Able to take stuff like fusion blasters, Gatling cannons, or autocannons. We get 6 shots, deadly, rending, AP2, different melee weapons. And you also, down here, the Havoc stuff has changed. So now, Change Bound, over 9 inches away, you're -1 to hit. Lust Bound, +1 inch movement when advancing, and +3 when rushing and charging. Plague Bound, on a 6 up, you get it's an extra save. On a 6, you ignore wound. And War Bound, whenever the enemy rolls a 1, they take an extra wound for defenses. That's going to be the same thing across all of the wormhole demon armies over here. All the wormhole demon armies, we played a couple of them, along with the Havoc brothers. I mean, they're good. They do what they're supposed to do now. It's just, again, me personally, no fizz for the demons. I'm pretty sure we ran everything. I think we ran Rebel Guerrillas. I have Ewoks out there. Ran Ratman clans. Again, these armies are pretty good. Just personally, no fizz for them. Dark Elf Raiders. We kind of screwed the pooch with the Dark Elf Raiders on our second test because I didn't read a rule right. So for the Dark Elf Raiders, I ran them against the Machine Cults. And the Machine Cult, with their Machine Fog, I assumed, I thought there was a comma, or I thought the rules were this way: if it was shot from over 9 inches or charged. I had the rule wording out of order in my head, so every time I charged them, even though they came out of their transports, I assumed that I was going to be at -2 to hit, and I think I still ended up with a tie with the Dark Elf Raiders, but that might be... maybe I don't remember. Go check out the live stream and imagine how much better it would be if I wasn't -2 to hit. So yeah, I think that is all we need to talk about for Grim Dark Future 3.5. Age of Fantasy, we had some cool things come up. I'm not really going into depth with that today. Yeah, they pretty much all do what they're supposed to do. We had a little extra work going on with the Sky City doors. We put a little extra mileage into this one to make a list with those that is just scary. Again, watch the second live stream for that, and you can see what we did. But But yeah, everything works pretty much as intended. Everything feels different. In 3.5, Tana wanted to get the armies feeling differently, and they do, even though, like, the Saurian Star Host has Primal, where whenever they roll 6, they get +1 attack, is the same rule that the Eternal Dynasty was, which is Clan Warrior, whenever they roll 6, is +1 to attack. Even though those rules are the same, when you get into what units you put that on, the armies feel totally different. Even though there's a lot of people saying, or there's a lot of hubbub about, oh, they got the same rules. Oh, they're both the same army now. Not even close. Not even close in the slightest. So, if you were playing 3.4 and you stayed out of the beta of 3.5, hop into 3.5 with both feet. I promise you, you're going to have fun. Your army is not going to be fundamentally changed from what it was before, unless you were playing Human Inquisition. I feel like that's a completely separate army than what we had 2 months ago. The army special rules are another layer of fun, another layer, just a little bit of spice added to your army. Some of the weapons have changed, and for that, let me look at the Rat Man, because those are especially fun. We have things like Hazardous, where if you roll a 1, you hurt yourself, but they get AP4, and they're cheaper for it, and it just always run these, because they're fun. And fun and flavor is great. That's all you want in your game. Unless you're being competitive, then take Dow. If not, you all got to figure out ways to kill Dow. Still working on that on my end. And yeah, I think that's going to close the door on the 3.5 testing. Ta-da! Oh, guys, thank you. I want to say a very special thanks to everyone who came out to the live streams, who listened to me and Uncle C badger and crap talk and roll bad dice and be upset about it for 2 whole months. Thank you guys for sticking around and making the live streams fun. Whole lot of fun talking with you guys. We kind of built ourselves our own little community there on the live streams. So as far as the schedule going forward, we are going to be doing a full garage. Well, I'm not tearing down the walls, but we're going to be doing a garage rebuild. We're going to be putting up more shelves. We're going to be putting in a heating unit where we're not in there freezing ourselves half to death playing during the wintertime. And we're going to try to hook up a television so when we do the live streams, like, we can see the chat and everything on the big screen. And after all the live streams, the Warb Maiden has told me that I need to make up for it. So we're not going to be recording anything for a little while because we got the rebuild going on. I got multiple date nights I have to make up for. So we're going to be back in 2 weeks where we will start the cycle that we had going before all over again. We're going to pick an army of the week, and then we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to make an army list, and we're going to show you some cool units you can use with it, and then we're going to have a painting live stream during the week, and then Wednesday is going to be, it might be a random video. I don't know. I'll still leave Wednesdays open for my weird talk about whatever happens to me on my mind. And there was a whole lot of stuff that happened in these 2 months that I did not have time to talk about. I might go back and make stuff up for those. A lot of it's already passed, but we'll see. And then we're going to be doing our battle report that we normally would have attached to the video on Saturdays talking about the army is now going to be a live stream because the bug kind of bit us. We had so much fun doing it. We're going to do one of those a week. Hope to see you there. So that's going to do it for me tonight here on the warbossfitz channel. Remember to check out our sponsor, PrintedStarships.com, where warbossfitz gets you a 15% discount when you check out. I will see you next time, and I hope you're having fun playing OPR wherever you are. Bye-bye.